Let's be honest, sometimes we don't feel great about our bodies, but for some people trying to fix their body insecurities can make things worse. Let's not judge them too quickly though. Hopefully we can learn from their mistakes. Get ready as we have a lot ahead, like big muscles and strange body changes. I'm already tired and this is just the warm-up. Okay, let's see what happens when people use fake muscles and it goes wrong. Synthvestol Stallone. Everyone has their own idea of a perfect male body. Some like guys like Tyler Durden, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or in this case, a Brazilian man who's supposed to look like an 80s action hero, but it's not good. Most of this guy's body looks normal and healthy, but his upper arm muscles are really swollen and infected. We don't know everything about what happened, but he probably used something called synthol. It's a mix of oil, painkillers, and alcohol. Bodybuilders inject synthol into their muscles to look bigger for contests, but some people, like the Brazilian guy, use it to look strong without exercising. This is not a good plan, though. Using this slimy mix can hurt the muscles and cause problems like damaged nerves and infections. Not good. I hope his big arms make him happy. At least he's trying to look like Sylvester Stallone, but his future might get a little rocky. Can Candice's situation get any worse? Wait a moment. If synthol is so dangerous, why bother with it? Well, it's because it might have fewer bad effects than anabolic steroids. These medicines are sometimes wrongly used by bodybuilders to boost their muscle growth. Unlike synthol, these actually stimulate real muscle growth, but they can have serious side effects. Candice Armstrong from London, UK learned this the hard way. Candice struggled with severe body dysmorphia, a mental condition where you focus too much on imagined body flaws that others wouldn't notice. She started exercising to feel better about herself, but even after 2 years of intense 3-hour workouts every day, she still wasn't satisfied. She wanted faster results. A fellow gym goer suggested Trenbolone to her. Trenbolone is an anabolic steroid that acts like natural hormones in the body, such as testosterone and human growth hormone or HGH. It boosts muscle growth by helping the body absorb more protein and create more muscle tissue. As Candice took more Trenbolone, she got bigger and felt less insecure. Sounds good, right? But her body reacted strangely to the extra hormones. Just a few weeks into using Trenbolone, she started growing facial and body hair, and her voice deepened. Yep, you heard that right. Since Trenbolone imitates testosterone, a male hormone, it can actually make women look more like men. For Candice, these changes happened slowly at first, but after 2 years of using Trenbolone, she looked completely different from her past self. She even started wearing men's clothes to avoid the negative attention she received in public. It's really sad. The last I heard, Candice was seeking help from professionals to deal with her body image struggles. I really hope she's doing better now. She's been through so much. Kill me softly. The world of fitness influencers has become extremely competitive lately, but Kirill Tereshchin, a Russian army veteran, has gone to extreme lengths to stand out. And when I say extreme, I mean it. Kirill is known as Russian Popeye and began injecting a medicine called synthol into his arms when he was 20. After 4 years of trying to get a certain look, which apparently resembled the Discord logo, he had to have emergency surgery to get rid of extra fluid and dead muscle from his triceps. It's pretty gross. But even after that, he still had a large amount of petroleum jelly in his biceps, which he didn't want to remove. In fact, he went even further with his body modifications. Kirill briefly shifted his attention to his legs and got silicone implants in his calves. Remember those silicone things you used to play with? He put them in his legs. And that's not all. He took things to a whole new level. Being a lifelong fan of aliens, Kirill decided to transform himself into one. He changed the shape of his jaw, forehead, cheeks and lips to look as extraterrestrial as possible. We can definitely say he succeeded in that. I'm sure there's a joke somewhere about an outer space face, but I just can't bring myself to make it. A couple of things you shouldn't find alien are those like and subscribe buttons, so go ahead and interact with them if you want to keep getting awesome content. Alright, let's get back to the video. Absolutely terrible. Can we all agree that the 2000s were a strange and unsettling time? From weird fashion trends like frosted hair tips to Shrek-themed foods, it was a bit of a mess. One of the most troubling aspects was the paparazzi culture that invaded people's privacy and bullied them. So when one of the pioneers of that culture, Darren Lyons, found himself in the spotlight, people quickly gave him a taste of his own medicine. When Darren appeared on the reality TV show Celebrity Big Brother in 2011, it was clear that one part of his body was unusually toned compared to the rest. He wasn't shy about showing off his sculpted abs either. But, well, he had spent almost $15,000 on them, so it's no surprise he wanted to flaunt them. The thing is, Darren didn't achieve those abs by working out with crunches and sit-ups. Instead, he flew to Poland for a surgery that removed a lot of the fat between his muscle layers to make his abs stand out. The problem was that he focused only on his stomach. As a result, he had the body of a 46-year-old man with the abs of a 23-year-old athlete. Bullying is never right, but Darren had made a living by invading celebrities' privacy and selling intrusive photos. It's just a reminder that what goes around comes around, right? The other Paul. Unless you've been really out of the loop, you've probably heard about Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned professional boxer. His recent matches against retired MMA fighters who are much older than him have been full of controversy. But there's one photo from his first amateur fight against another YouTuber, Deji, that caught everyone's attention. In the picture, Jake's right shoulder seems to blend into the background. It's like he's becoming one with it. Is he turning into a ghost? Well, not really. It turns out that the photo was edited poorly. Someone on Jake's team, probably an eager intern, tried to make him look more muscular using Photoshop. The result was a weird disappearing shoulder effect. Now, whether you love him or not, you have to hand it to him. After all these years, he still has that same crazy look in his eyes. In fitness and in health. When it comes to fitness and staying healthy, you've probably heard the saying that goes, couples who work out together stay together. Well, that's really true for George and Susan Kaprash, a couple from Canada. These two lovebirds are into bodybuilding and have been competing in the sport for a massive 30 years. Quite impressive, right? Now, personally, I hit the gym once and end up needing a whole week off. I'm just using the vending machine there. But their journey hasn't always been easy and smooth. Back in 2014, they faced a lot of criticism online. You see, they displayed some not-so-great-looking silicone implants on stage during a competition. Ouch, that must have stung. However, George later explained that they had actually consulted a professional before getting those implants. This person claimed to have done this procedure on many other bodybuilders before. What's interesting is that George admitted that he and his wife weren't happy with the results at all. Despite this, they decided to go ahead and take part in the competition. The reason? Their daughter was competing too, and it would be the first time all three of them would compete as a family. But you know how the internet is, right? People love focusing on others' flaws without knowing the full story. So those not-so-great photos of the silicone implants spread across fitness memes pages like wildfire. As a result, these veterans of the bodybuilding game with 30 years of experience ended up facing a lot of criticism for it. It's kind of disappointing. I bet those online keyboard warriors would never dare to say those things face-to-face to this bodybuilding family. They'd probably be in for a bit of a surprise, especially if they tried to mess with Susan. Get it? 2-day six-pack. I don't have any tattoos. I've always been too indecisive. But one crafty client in Manchester, England was anything but indecisive when he opted for one that ensures him a beach-ready body 365 days a year. A video posted on tattoo artist Dean Gunther's TikTok shows his client struggling with motivation in the gym, so he tried a different approach to achieving the body of his dreams. After 2 long, painful days under the needle, are you ready to see his incredible body transformation? Who's this well-built guy? The detail in the tattoo is actually pretty good, but maybe I'm just comparing it to these attempts by other people. In fact, yes, I definitely am. I mean, it doesn't look like the colours even match his skin. However, fresh tattoos always take time to settle, so maybe it'll turn out fine. And Dean didn't charge him a penny for it. Gusalem Truth. Whether you're a fan of bodybuilding or not, you can't deny that many bodybuilders push themselves to their limits to achieve their goals. However, some, like Belgian-born Edward Gurr, push themselves way too far. Gurr lived a diverse life, from being an athlete to a bodybuilder, model, and even a Hollywood stuntman, which sounds like the coolest job ever. But for 15 years he used steroids to build up his muscle mass. The problem is, while steroids can make you muscular, they can also increase your blood pressure and strain your heart. In June 1997, Gurr had a heart attack while cooking dinner. and his heart stopped beating. Despite the odds, he survived. After numerous surgeries and procedures, Gurr continued to defy the odds. Sadly, he passed away in 2015 due to other complications. It's a sad story, but his resilience in his sport and his recovery is truly inspiring. Photoshop flops. Okay, let's remember Jake Paul's Photoshop mishap for a moment. But it's not just celebrities who edit their images online. Some people's attempts are worse than others. Check out this kid. He's ripped, right? Ripped those muscly arms right out of a magazine to pose with. Hope his mom walked in on that scene playing out. Then we have this cool dude. If you're wondering what's up with his strange-looking body, take a look closer at the bottom left. Yep, he bought a t-shirt with a muscly body print on it, took a picture, and then edited out the white parts of the top. Incredible. But the winner for sheer audacity goes to this guy. That arm is twice the size of his head. So even if anyone believed this pic was unedited, they'd have serious questions about what he's been doing with that left arm. It's sad that anyone feels the need to do this, but sometimes it's even more subtle. The point is, don't believe everything you see on Instagram. Thriller filler. Women's bodies come in all different shapes and sizes. Some are heavier on top, some are heavier on the bottom. Well, patients of O'Neill Morris are definitely heavier on the bottom. Much heavier. O'Neill ran a back alley beautician in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. While she told her patients her products were the creme de la creme, she was really injecting a cement concoction into their derrieres. I'm sorry, she did what now? Oh, you heard me correctly. O'Neill's mix contains cement, silicone, and Fix-A-Flat, which is for sealing flat tires, not sealing an entire breeze block's worth of cement inside a woman's badonkadonk. I've watched enough medical dramas to know this Home Depot shopping list doesn't sound like standard practice, and it wasn't. She didn't have a license. The whole operation was illegal, and all in all, over 30 people have come forward claiming they paid for dodgy cosmetic procedures. Sadly, many of these women were in desperate situations, unable to afford reputed cosmetic surgeons and trusting in O'Neill's cheaper service. All of them suffered from disfigurement, illness, and even hospitalization due to the bogus treatments. So in 2017, this toxic tush doctor was sentenced to 10 years in prison. I'd say she got off lightly, but let me know your thoughts on this crazy story in the comments. Ill-starred Sagato. Oh boy, if you don't have them already, you better get your tissues out. I got teary-eyed just reading up on Brazilian bodybuilder Valdez Sagato. You might have seen him before. He gained internet notoriety for his heavily artificial synthol physique, but in Valdez's case, a picture doesn't always tell 1,000 words. He'd grown up around Sao Paulo in the 1970s and 80s and had a tough adolescence, slipping into bad habits and an unhealthy lifestyle that left him worryingly underweight. In an attempt to turn his life around, Valdez joined a gym, hoping the structure and exercise would pull him out of his rut. And it did, for a time. But then in 2013, someone at his gym introduced him to synthol, and Valdez was immediately hooked on the way it made him look. He began pumping his chest, shoulders and arms full of this stuff, to the point his biceps swelled to a gargantuan 23 inches. That's almost as big as a soccer ball. By 2016, his doctors warned him that the risk of nerve damage or worse was alarmingly high. But none of that mattered to Valdez. He enjoyed the attention it brought him too much. He even changed his Instagram name to Valdez Synthol. Turns out, however, the doctors were right. Sadly, back in August 2022, Valdez's vices got the better of him. It was only his 55th birthday. Even worse, although he'd amassed over 1 million followers on TikTok, it was in no way a reflection of how the dude lived. In reality, he was almost completely alone. Goodness, I told you it was a heavy one. I just hope Valdez found some peace now. Loose caboose. Social media bombards us with images of unattainable beauty standards that can have a massively negatively impact on how we see ourselves. For 23-year-old Mafia from Leeds, England, that was especially true. She'd become absolutely enamored with the Kim Kardashian figure. You know, tiny waist, big bottom. But at a petite size 8, this seemed totally impossible for Mia to attain. That is, until she discovered a clinic in Belgium that could do bone augmentation surgery, silicone implants for your booty. So, after saving around $8,000, she travelled over to get the body of her dreams. But things didn't exactly turn out how she wanted. The doctor told her that she couldn't have implants any larger than 2 inches, much smaller than Mia had planned. However much she begged, though, the clinic refused. So Mia cut her losses, accepted the doctor's proposal, and had the procedure. Happy-ish ending, right? Wrong. After the work was done, Mia couldn't sit down or put any weight on the operated area while it healed. So she faced a grueling journey home and at points had to lie face down on the train platforms just to rest. Then 10 days after she got back to Leeds, she awoke to a grisly shock. Her mattress was soaking wet. One of her new implants had burst and leaked all over the bed. Goodness, that's grim. She immediately rushed to the hospital but begged the surgeons not to take the implants out despite the high risk of infection. Now I know that might seem crazy, but if you were in Mia's shoes, you might put up a fight too. Think about it. If you had a crippling insecurity that you paid a lot of money to have corrected, then someone threatened to take that away, how would you feel? Luckily for Mia, she got her blown-up backside fixed, had new implants fitted, and is now much happier. Phew. So, there really is a happy ending to this particular tale. Disaster averted. After all that, I'm going to eat a pizza. Turns out my perfect body is one filled with 12 inches of cheesy goodness. So, which of those muscular malfunctions shocked you the most? Let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching.